Yes, guys, welcome back to Stats with Jack here with another one, but this one especially important considering the North London Derby is at stake. Top four is at stake. We're talking about the Thursday game. Decide to put it out a bit earlier for you guys so there's a better chance for more of you to watch it, as well for more of you maybe to just consider what's at stake here. Also, as well, maybe get more of a kind of scout report on maybe certain Arsenal players as well, maybe the tactics that could be put in place here. So everybody, as always, though, do smash that like button while you're in here. Do drop a comment at any stage, while you're watching the video if to, maybe bring up something that maybe I might have missed, something that, maybe needs to be improved on. Also, maybe just something just about the North London Derby in general. But as well, everybody do also grab that membership to show support for all the different content that we put out here. If you do want to show, a bit of financial support for the channel, feel free to grab that membership. It's one of the best ways that you can do it because if all of you were to grab that membership, really would take this channel to a whole new level. But everybody, as always, let's get this party started. Cold hard facts. Tottenham have scored four more and conceded two fewer goals than Arsenal so far this season. I think the only reason I brought that up is just to show that the points that we've dropped, and the fact that we have scored more and conceded fewer goals just shows that, certain games that we could have just done a lot better. We would be ahead of Arsenal and maybe just shows that we're a better team, considering that maybe we do have a better defense and we certainly have a better attack. Arsenal are looking to complete their first league double since the 2013-2014 campaign. Tottenham are unbeaten in their last seven home Premier League games against Arsenal, and Spurs have won four of their last five Premier League home games, scoring at least three goals in all four of those victories. We've been an absolute fortress this season at home. We need to keep that. This is the most important game for us to be that fortress this season. So let's hope that the Spurs fans can bring their best and bring their absolute joy and support and their utmost kind of just I don't know, noise and enthusiasm to this team because they're going to need it, and it's going to also really kind of rattle also the scum as well. Head to head, all-time record for Arsenal against Arsenal: 66 wins, 54 drawn, and 84 lost. Last five fixtures, I mean, we've lost the last two, so we definitely need the win here. We've won though 2-0 at home and also won 2-1 at home, but all we have yet to really win away from home in a bit of time. So let's hope we can keep that, at least that fortress over here at home, and continue to win over here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. The last time we did play though, where it actually wasn't a loss, I think at the Emirates, was over with that draw with the 2-2. Conte's record versus Arsenal, it's not great, everybody. One win, three drawn, and four lost. I don't really know how to explain it. I don't really even remember those days when, Conte was having such a poor time against Arsenal. So it's actually quite confusing. Maybe someone in the comments could explain Arteta's record versus Tottenham: two wins, two lost. I mean, it's not so bad so far, I must say, actually, for the Lego man. But let's move on, everybody, to Arsenal's formation. This is kind of the predicted lineup that I have ahead of this one. Ramsdale, of course, in goal. Tomiyasu, I expect them maybe to field him. He had such a good game against Sonny last time out. He really, really did stifle us as well. You could look at the fact that, Cedric is maybe more of a, an attacking threat. Tomiyasu is more of that defensive solidity, and that's kind of what they're going to need. I think they're going to need more of a defensive kind of solidity than they are going to need, an attacking threat. They already have Saka over there, who we'll talk about later, of course. So Tomiyasu is who I expect to play for this one. Ben White is going to be playing the right-sided center back in this role alongside Gabriel. White has not featured in the last few games, I think, because he's kind of been recovering from some sort of injury, preparing for this big game. El Neni has been playing alongside Xhaka more recently. I expect them to continue that just again for that defensive solidity, but it's also something that they've been running a bit more of recent, and it seems to have worked out for them. Nuno Tavares, maybe just to be more that, attacking threat, that guy who can actually get up and down the pitch, whereas Tomiyasu maybe cannot. And then Martinelli, I just expect him just to be in the team. He's been an absolute threat for them this season. Definitely brings more of that threat of pace. Also, maybe coming up against Emerson, could maybe fancy, his chances. Odegaard through the middle, probably been absolutely the unsung hero, if not probably their best player this season in sort of a way, maybe alongside Saka, who's also probably, you could say, the best player of their season. And then Nketiah up front, who's had definitely a good spell of form of recent. But let's go into the unsung hero. It is going to be Martin Odegaard. You could probably, I think Darius said to me on stats, or sorry, on Flat Cap Euro Talk, that he thought Odegaard was probably, to a degree, maybe their best player this season. When you actually look at how he's contributed to their season, you could say that maybe secretly he kind of has been. Goal contributions, he has the third most with 10, I think 6 goals and 4 assists. Key passes, he has the most in the entire team, which is a pass that leads directly to a shot on goal. Passes into the penalty area, he has the most. Progressive passes, he has the most in the entire squad. Shot creating actions, he has the second most, I think, behind Bukayo Saka, and then pressures he has the most by by I think a huge margin as well. So that also shows maybe the way that they press, the way that he uses that kind of number 10 and that kind of through the middle to basically do a lot of the pressuring and to do a lot of kind of the defensive work as well. So Martin Odegaard has certainly stepped up in that regard for the Lego Man. Bukayo Saka goal contribution 17 so far this season. Shot creating actions, I think it's like 11 goals and 6 assists, or 12 goals and 5 assists. Shot creating actions, the most in the entire squad. Players dribble pass, the most in the entire squad. Progressive passes, which is a pass forward of 10 yards or more, he has the most in the entire squad. Carries into the penalty area, he has the most in the entire squad. And then progressive passes, which is like a pass of 10 yards or more again, that he's actually the target of or is the receiver of, he's also receives the most out of any player in that Arsenal squad. So again, Bukayo Saka, not a surprise, an absolute key player, probably the most likely to score if you ask me. Odegaard, probably another one that'd be very likely to score. Martinelli, you could probably see him as well, maybe grabbing one. But definitely just probably their best player, their biggest threat, and is a threat in so many different ways as well. But those are his stats. And how do Arsenal attack? And this is going to be one of those big threats, everybody. And it's just that Martinelli can be an absolute live wire. If you ask me, I think he can be a real threat against someone like Emerson. What I've actually gone for here is, we know that Martinelli, of course, can, pick up the ball and run at his defenders. But I think maybe what I wanted to include here is actually the fact that Ramsdale does come into play here because he does have shaky distribution, but he also has good distribution. He can play a really good ball over the top, kind of like Ederson does for Man City, where he can just spray it over the top for somebody. He can also, get a team out of pressure at times when he does play that pass. He takes a bit too many risks and sometimes does mess up, kind of the pass in general, but he can play this sort of pass, this long, over the top sprayed pass where it kind of just bounces a few times before Martinelli gets to it. And then he's just able to run over the top. He's probably one of the fastest players on the pitch, I do have to admit as well. Is able to maybe catch Romero off guard. Romero is able to catch up to him, but he's able with his left foot, which he is decent with, to put a cross across for Saka to put it away. But yeah, that threat over the top for Martinelli, he is definitely always certainly have to honor that threat of his. He is an absolute live wire. And I would say, of course, like maybe another way you could see him scoring is just taking on Emerson one on one and then maybe creating something from there. But I decided to choose this just to also maybe honor maybe what Ramsdale has done for them in terms of distribution this season. Odegaard pulling the strings. This one, I mean, it's not a big surprise. That's kind of what all those stats kind of showed earlier, which we know that Odegaard has been that guy pulling the strings for them this season. What I'm more or less I'm just trying to show is kind of the way that Arsenal do play, which is very kind of old school, like they kind of did back in the day with Arsene Wenger. A bit kind of fast paced, kind of one touch, sort of kind of quick, kind of direct, kind of passing here. That's what I'm kind of trying to show is Martin Odegaard certainly would be that player that's running the show for them through the middle. That's basically what this kind of animation is trying to kind of demonstrate in this regard. Eventually, when he gets the ball through the middle, he kind of sees an over the top pass and he sees Nuno Tavares making a run in behind Emerson. Emerson doesn't really notice the run and isn't able to recover. I think Tavares from there then is able to just play it across the six for an Nketiah tap in. But Odegaard certainly can play any type of pass he wants. He can also shoot it from distance from those areas as well. Easily their second best player, like we said, probably one of their most technically gifted players as well in the entire team too. But Odegaard's certainly a threat in terms of just running the show, pulling the strings for the attack and the team and the playmaking, but as well can also just have a pop from distance from there as well. Saka is a threat in every way, and it's kind of like the Salah, sort of situation. So hopefully Sassignon is well prepared for this because I feel like Bukayo Saka is a similar sort of customer to the likes of Mohamed Salah. And this one, instead of just showing like Saka, just kind of beating, getting past Sassignon, what I kind of tried to show here is actually the fact that Saka also has kind of more of a creative side to his game as well. He can play that pass through the lines. He can, have nice link up play through the middle. He can play almost kind of like, a number 10 in those half spaces, in kind of a clever way. He's just a good player, to be honest. He can be, of course, exceptional in the wide areas. And that's probably what we expected me to do for this animation. But decided to kind of think outside the box here and show that he can play something like that, where he can come in a bit inside on that left foot and maybe just play that kind of back post, dinked kind of cross for someone like a Martinelli to put away with his left foot and where Lloris can't recover. But yeah, Bukayo Saka, a threat in so many ways. He can, cut down the wing. He can, put a cross in. He can cut inside, have a shot, or also still put a cross in. He can, drift around the area. He can make runs in behind. He's just probably their most dangerous player in every single way. But yeah, everybody, do you expect Sassuolo to have an easy time or, a harder time against Saka? Because I feel like he's a similar customer to the likes of Mohamed Salah. So maybe Sassuolo could be well prepared for it. Let me know. How do that was supposed to be Arsenal. But yeah, how do they defend? In fact, Arsenal, I mean, will they go for kind of more of an attacking kind of, display, which means that they would, press us a lot higher up the pitch? I could see that happening because we are really a team that thrives more on counterattacking. And someone like, maybe Mikel Arteta might want to see if he can dominate the ball in our stadium. Maybe that gives, that team a bit, of confidence against, against us, especially might quiet the crowd a bit if they, try to, press us really high and try to make us, force a few mistakes. So maybe in the beginning of the game, I expect them to press us quite high, make things quite difficult for us. They basically have a similar sort of pressing system to the likes of Man City, in some ways. But eventually, if the game kind of stays pretty close, I expect them to, start sitting back. He's also plenty of times implemented a very defensive style, Mikel Arteta, where, every man is behind the ball, working very, very hard as well. So that could easily happen at some stage as well. I think in the beginning of the game, he's going to go for a bit more of an attacking sort of threat, whereas maybe, where he's going to try to win the ball high up the pitch, but then later, maybe he might sit back a bit more and, go for more of that kind of defensive block that he's done before against teams like Man City and whatnot, and plenty of other sides as well. But everybody, let's just break down how will Spurs win this game. And this is the predicted lineup. This is kind of, not a big surprise. Same players as last time out. Emerson did have a good game. Let's hope he can replicate it in every which way, if not maybe even be a bit better for this upcoming game. We need Højbjerg to, if he gets, those opportunities like he has recently, to put him away. He's been playing exceptionally, but he needs to, match that exceptional performance with that goal or that, pass or whatever that, could kind of reward, his hard work. Kulusevski has a huge game ahead of him, his first North London derby. We have the whole back line ready. Seems like they're fully healthy. Sessegnon subbed off early. He seems to be fully healthy. Bentancur, I imagine, is all good at the end of the day as well. But that is the predicted lineup. But everybody, what do you think? Is this the right lineup to go with? Do we continue with the same thing? Do let me know. But let's have a message from our sponsors over at Manscaped. Everybody, you can get 20% off with that code FLATCAP over at Manscaped for all the goodies out there. They have a ton of things over on their website. It's not just, the performance package, which we do recommend. I mean, we have tried out the performance package ourselves. Manscaped was very kind enough to give us the performance package, and I would say it's definitely something you do need in your life. But if you already have that, if you don't really feel like you need it, you might as well just take a look at all the other goodies as well that they have, and you can still get 20% off with that code FLATCAP. But everybody, let's check out the video that I'm pretty sure everybody loves at this stage. But we are making a new one soon. But everybody, do check it out. Fellas, sit down and listen up. We were all over the place out there, and there is hair everywhere. This is the biggest battle of your lives. We are in hell right now, gentlemen.
Now we can stay here and hide from our hair below, or we can get Manscaped's Performance Package 4.0 and do something about it. Fight back 1 inch at a time.
Now I can't do it for you, but I look around and I see your faces, and I see the shame, I see the guilt, I see the embarrassment.
But thankfully, we at the Irish Hotspur have teamed up with Manscaped to help you inch by inch, pube by pube.
We know when you get old in life, hair grows and grows and grows. It's a natural part of life, minute by minute, day by day. The pubes, they just keep on growing and growing. Not only on the crown jewels, but the hair grows in your nose and your ears as well. We also know, though, that life is busy every minute and every second counts. And it can be easy to neglect yourself, gentlemen. But you will find out that in life, if you don't love yourself, no one else will love you. And that is life. And life is a game of inches.
Manscaped is crucial, and the margin for error is so small for the inches we need. When you add up all them inches, that's the difference between giving someone a good time and giving someone a time they will never, ever forget. So on this team, we fight for that inch.
And we use the weed whacker for that inch. And we use the plow 2.0 for that inch. And we use the lawnmower 4.0 for that inch.
We know, once we add up all them inches, that Manscaped is the difference between winning and losing. Between going home alone or going home with someone.
On any given night, it's the guy willing to die for a hairless body who wins that inch. And then I know if I'm going to have the best chance at life, it's because I am grooming for that extra inch.
Because that's what living is, gentlemen. It's that 6 inches in front of your face. But tonight, look at your partner. Look at them in the eyes. They will see a guy who's willing to go that inch for them.
They will see a guy who's part of the Manscaped team. And that guy, that teammate, uses the ball reviver and he uses the ball toner to achieve that desired finish for them and for you. Because you know, when it comes to it, they do the same thing for you. That's what a team is, gentlemen.
The moral of the story is that in life, inches matter. So trim that bush. Let's get after them pubes. It's Manscaped, guys. That's all it is. Now what are you going to do?
There it is, everybody. Every inch counts, as we know. Hopefully, they know on Thursday that every inch is going to count in order to get the result that we need. But that is our message from our sponsors over at Manscaped. Thank you, Manscaped, for sponsoring this episode of the Irish Hotspur. But let's get into this video. But everybody, as always, of course, use that code FLATCAP to get 20% off. But we move on to the unsung hero. Has to be Højbjerg. Just to big him up a bit, I think he's probably feeling a bit down this week. So if Højbjerg, one of his biggest fans in the world, if he is watching, if he needs that bit of, kind of pick me up, this is what it's going to take, because he's going to be shown that he still has at this moment in time and will probably finish the season. He will finish the season with the most tackles and interceptions, the most pressures, the most passes into the final third, the most progressive passes, and the most ball recoveries. He is someone that is vital to this squad. People talk about getting rid of Højbjerg. He's not good enough. I would say the day that we get rid of Højbjerg is the day that all of our problems are fixed over at Spurs. So that's my thoughts on the problem. But passes into the penalty area. He's also third in that area as well, which I think is kind of ridiculous when you really think about it, because I think it's Sonny that's first. I think it's Kane that might be second. And then, Højbjerg third, unbelievable. I mean, the guy is so much more creative than people give him credit for. But let's go on into Sonny as the key player. Of course, the most goal contributions with 27 now so far this season. The most key passes completed. Yeah, I mean, the same thing to say about Højbjerg is the same thing we're saying about Sonny here. He will finish with the most goal contributions. He will finish with the most key passes completed, which is a pass that leads directly to a shot on goal. He will probably finish the season with the most passes into the penalty area, which is such an important stat. The most shot creating actions, the most carries into the final third, which is going to be really crucial for any sort of counterattack, and the most carries into the penalty area. That is the stuff that he's going to be finishing the season on. And honestly, all of those are such important metrics for what we need from a player like Sonny. We're so grateful for him having such a terrific season, and all of the ruthless sort of finishes that he's put in, all the fantastic performances he has is the reason we're in this spot today. So Sonny, Thank you for these unbelievable stats. But everybody, let's keep plowing on to the threats and Kane turning his marker. I think Kane could have a really good game upcoming here. Maybe if El Neni has a good kind of man marking sort of kind of game against him, you could see him being able to have a good game against Kane. But I think Kane is going to be so up for this, everybody, as well as like the fact that even though maybe someone like El Neni might be man marking him, I think he'll probably just get him an early yellow card or something, or he'll just outsmart, the likes of El Neni. So we could see this, sort of in 1,000 different ways. You can make this animation in 1,000 different ways, but Kane turning his marker is going to be a huge thing for us coming up in this game. It's going to be how we're going to get Kulu in behind. It's going to be how we're going to get Sonny in behind. It's how we even play players like Sessegnon or Emerson in behind as well. It's a huge facet to our game. If we're able to get Kane to do this sort of thing multiple times, we are going to win this game. So that is my thoughts on this. And this is probably your biggest threat in most occasions. So you have to put that through. Sonny's runs through the middle. I mean, last time in the tactical breakdown, we spoke about how many runs through the middle that were kind of ignored, by Sonny, and also how many times he does fill that gap for Harry Kane when Harry Kane likes to drop deep or go somewhere else. Sonny fills that kind of striker role through the middle, and that's what this is trying to show here. We're doing a bit of build-up play through the back. They're kind of press us a bit too high. While they're pressing us a bit too high, Sonny, instead of dropping deep, fills that corner, that kind of striker role through the middle. Eventually, we get it to Harry Kane. Harry Kane with that first-time ball over the top. I know he's capable of it. And then Sonny's in behind. And then instead of sweating it to Sessegnon, he decides to take it around the keeper and pass into the back of the net. But everybody, these are just the Son and the Kane relationship. These sort of kind of displays the Son, making those runs through the middle, as well as Kane turning his marker and dropping deep. These are just going to be such huge, important components to how we're going to need to win this game. And in order for us to win this game, we're probably going to need to have one of these sort of animations in some shape or form come true in the North London Derby. But the last one here, Decky carrying it out wide. Honestly, he's been exceptional in these wide areas, especially leading the counterattacks. We've done this animation a few separate occasions, but I think he's just exceptional in these sort of areas, especially when we're kind of breaking from deep in our own half. He has been unbelievable. I just show him just kind of absolutely tearing apart Tavares. But, ball to the back post from Odegaard. We even showed earlier that ball to the back post from Odegaard led to a goal. But in this case, Emerson's able to win it. He gives off to Kulusevski. Kulusevski plays some beautiful kind of counterattacking kind of 1-2 with Kane. Kane is able to play that ball in behind. Kulu from there is able to just absolutely destroy Tavares and then play that, cross field, that cross into the 18-yard box for Sonny to run onto and tap it home past Ramsdale. But everybody, Kulusevski, I just think he's going to be a huge component of the counterattacks. He's so composed, so good in possession, knows how to time things perfectly. Doesn't need the pace all the time, but he does have a bit of pace. I think more than people probably realize. So he is going to be absolutely vital for this one. But yeah, there's the Kulusevski threat, everybody. Let's move on to players to target for this one. In this case, I think Ben White still is someone to target. Son's going to be the one making runs in and beyond Ben White. Does he have the pace to catch up with him or even the strength to catch up with Son? I'm not sure. Tomiyasu probably might even be helping him out a lot. But since Son makes so many runs through the middle nowadays, not from out wide, but through the middle, it's going to be Ben White, and Gabriel very much responsible for those runs. We'll see how that goes for them. Ramsdale, I think, is someone to target. I think he's had a good season, of course, but there have been times when I've been a bit kind of concerned, with his distribution because he gets away with a lot. Sometimes he'll just fire it into the back of, someone, or he'll just, kind of slip as he hits it and it goes, to an opposition player. I feel like he hasn't been punished enough for some of the mistakes he's made in possession. So if he were to have a mistake in this North London Derby, that could be interesting. He also he's kind of a goalkeeper for the theatrics. He makes great saves, don't get me wrong, but sometimes it's just a bit dramatized. And there are times when he doesn't save, certain shots that he probably should have as well. So he's kind of I don't know. He's a goalkeeper that I would probably target. I would maybe throw a few long shots at him and see how, he handles them. Cause he's almost kind of a bit Pickford esque where he gets a bit too jazzed up and maybe you could actually take advantage of him. Chaka, I mean, what else is there to say? Capable of a red card, capable of just blowing up. capable of, just making a mistake at times as well. He goes for, a lot of risks. He's a great player on his day, but can also just be absolutely atrocious. So not a big surprise there as well. But let's move on, everybody, to the big key battles. And this one, Gabriel versus Kane. I think is going to be absolutely huge. I mean, who's going to be man marking Kane? Probably someone like El Neni or Jaka, but I think Gabriel is going to be very much responsible for kind of the physical stuff against Kane as well. He is a very powerful and imposing center back, but we just need Kane to outsmart him. Maybe give him that early yellow card, so he's kind of stifled a bit. But it's going to be a huge game because can he outsmart the likes of Gabriel, who has had a good season? I must be honest. Another key battle, of course, is going to be Sonny versus the likes of Ben White and Tomiyasu. Sonny's going to be playing out wide, but he's also going to be playing through the middle. So he's going to be kind of coming across these two. Tomiyasu had an exceptional game against them last time out. I really do need Sonny to improve on that performance, but I think a lot of that did have to do with Nuno. Tomiyasu certainly could deal with Sonny quite well. I think he has all the attributes to be able to do it, but Sonny plays so much through the middle nowadays when Harry Kane drops deep that, Ben White might be the one to have to deal with him a bit more often. So we'll see how that goes. That certainly is going to be a big key battle. And then another one is, of course, Bukayo Saka, basically their best player against Sessegnon and Ben Davies. I mean, those two did exceptional against Mo Salah. How will they handle Bukayo Saka? A different kind of system, pretty similar player, if you ask me, but a very different system. With Mikel Arteta, they do base a lot around how Saka, plays, and he is full of confidence right now, and he will take this game very personally, and be very pumped for this one. So we'll see how they can handle that guy. But everybody, that is the end of Stats with Jack. Do hope you enjoyed this one. North London Derby up this Thursday. Decide to do this one nice and early for you guys, so most of you can be able to watch it in time for it. Do check out the fan show coming up tonight as well. Do also check out, I think we're going to be doing a big kind of debate discussion show as well. Plenty of stuff coming up on the Irish Hotspur. Big watch along as well. Do join us for that. Hit that like button on your way out. Do hit that membership if you do as well want to show support for all the different type of content we put out there. But as always, we'll be seeing you. Come on, you Spurs, and in Conte we trust.